Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Crystal. Today I have a fantasy series that I think everyone needs to read in their lifetime. Now, these aren't my top 5 favorite series of all time, although some of them are definitely in them. These are just 5 fantasy series, duets, trilogies that I have read and have loved with my entire freaking heart. They are some of the best fantasies I've ever read in my entire life, and I think that everyone should read them. So therefore, I'm bringing this video to you guys, and thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to share these books with you guys. If you haven't read these, please go read them and then tell me what you think. And then if you have read these, tell me what you thought of them. I would love to hear what everyone has to say about them. But yeah, let's get right into it. So the first fantasy I have for you guys is a duet, actually, and this one is called A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Rebecca Ross is a talented writer. This is my favorite fantasy by her. Now, I know Divine Rivals is one of her most popular series. I feel like, at least from my standpoint, I feel like that's what Rebecca Ross is really known for, is for Divine Rivals. But for me personally, A River Enchanted was my all-time favorite fantasy by her. This is a duet, and the magic in this duet is like something I've never read before. It was so unique, so divine. There's also 2 romances happening in this duet, and both are absolutely to die for. They're so good. This is a YA fantasy, and it is just so stunning, so amazing. The book follows a man named Jack who is summoned back to his home of Cadence, and he has not been home to Cadence in about 10 years. And he gets summoned back because he receives a letter, and girls are going missing from the island. And Ada is the one who thinks that Jack is the only one who can find these girls, so she summons him. He shows up. Now, in this duet, there are these elemental spirits in this world, and I just think it was so unique and so interesting. It was not hard to follow whatsoever. Rebecca Ross has such a magical and easy way of teaching you what her fantasy world is and what fantasy world you are stepping into. It was so fascinating. I absolutely adored every second of this duet. Yeah, so basically Jack is this bard, and he has kind of the abilities to play a musical instrument, which is something that Ada's mom used to be able to do. And this kind of I feel like I'm going to explain it kind of wrong, but it kind of made them step into being able to talk to these elemental spirits, pretty much. By the way, I should have said this earlier. This is obviously no spoilers. But yeah, so they end up finding out that there's something darker happening, and they have to get to the bottom of it. It's like a fantasy, a mystery, a romance. Absolutely divine. Now, this next one is definitely one of my favorite fantasy trilogies of all time. I love this trilogy with my entire heart and soul. It is so freaking good. I cannot emphasize enough how amazing this trilogy is. And if there's one thing you do, one takeaway you get from this video, it is read this trilogy, okay? And that is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. I'm so sorry, I always butcher her last name. But this trilogy was so amazing, you guys. I cried, laughed, swooned. It was so freaking good. I literally, internal panic mode. I cannot emphasize it enough how badly I need everyone who loves YA fantasy to pick this book up, because this trilogy will be one of the best things that will ever happen to you. And I mean it, because it happened to me. So pretty much this trilogy follows an outlaw and a prince, and they got some little flirtation going on, some little tension, a little bit of romance, okay? And mind you, there are also 2 romances in this trilogy, and both are so freaking good, okay? I'm just flabbergasted every time I think about this trilogy, because it truly is one of my favorites of all time. The romance in this book is so freaking good. But basically, the first book follows Tessa, whom we love, and the people of this kingdom, they've been like suffering like this illness for a really long time, and supposedly there is a cure. So Tessa's kind of known as like an outlaw, and pretty much she like steals this cure for like kind of the poor people of this kingdom, because they say, you know, like they gotta ration the cure, so who gets the cure? The wealthy. So Tessa is like this outlaw who goes out and steals this cure and gives it to the poor. And then you have Prince Korik. My man, my man, my man. He is to die for, okay? So he serves as the king's justice. The king is his older brother. Their parents have since been passed when this book starts. And so, you know, you got two brothers running a kingdom pretty much. And Prince Korik, he's known for his vicious punishments. That's kind of like his role as the king's justice, is to hand out justice. But next thing you know, something brings Tessa and Korik together. And you guys would never believe, please guys, if there's anything you do, read this trilogy. It is so stunning, so good. I literally cannot wait for you guys to read this book and just feel all the emotions that I felt while reading it, because if I could do anything, it would be to wipe my mind and reread this trilogy for the first time. Alright, next we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and this one is also a YA fantasy, and it's also a duet, so very short, very quick. And this book follows the main character, Elspeth. I've never really been able to say her name, so sorry. But it follows Elspeth, and she has someone in her mind. There's something in her mind, and they're talking, you know, and Elspeth's like, well, you know, it's someone, like, what is going on, alright? And so pretty much this book follows Elspeth, and she wants to, like, get rid of this dark magic that is infecting this kingdom, but who she encounters along the way is captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, the king's own nephew. Alright, so there's a little bit of a romance in this one too, and that one is just as divine as the other two that I have mentioned. So yeah, this is fantasy, a little bit of gothic actually. I would also put this in the gothic genre. It was really, really good, like a little bit of dark academia vibes kind of going. I want to say more gothic though. The fantasy was amazing, very easy to follow. Rachel is amazing. I will now be reading everything she writes after having read this masterpiece. But yeah, this one is also amazing. It's really known, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have already read it yourselves. But if you haven't yet, this is your sign. Alright, the next book that I have is a new adult romantasy, and this is the only new adult romantasy I do have in this pile. And I do only have the second book, but the first book is called The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. The second book is called The Throne of Broken Gods. I believe there are 4 books out in this series right now, maybe actually only 3. So there are 3 books out right now, but the 4th book is set to come out in October of 2025. I have not read the 3rd book yet, which is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen, but it is on my TBR to be read very, very soon. But I have read the first 2 books, and the first book was amazing. The second book was actually one of my favorite books of all time in 2024 when I first read this. This entire fantasy series right now is amazing. So the Book of Azrael, which is the first book in this series, follows Diana, who is our main character, and she pretty much gives up her life like 1,000 years ago to save her sister's life. And when she does this, she kind of falls into the hands of a not so good, powerful man, and she's kind of like his right-hand man, but also like a prisoner. You know, she gave up her life to save her sister. And then enters Liam. He is known as the World Ender. So there was a God's War, and Liam ended up locking himself away after that had occurred. Won't get too much into it, so you guys can read it for yourself as to why. But fast forward to now, his people, the ones that he loved, loves are being attacked, and so he finally steps out from this little cave he's been hiding in to deal with what has been going on, and that is when he meets Diana. So this is a little bit of enemies to lovers. Well, definitely, actually a little bit, please. This is enemies to lovers, and so him and Diana, they have a little spark, but obviously she is on the bad man's side because of what he gave to her. And one thing about Diana is she loves her sister so much. She would do anything for her sister. And so the first book pretty much follows Diana on this quest that Caden, the bad man, sends her on, where she encounters Liam. And the second book is even better, guys. I just can't even explain it. Like, I gave 5 stars to the Book of Azrael, but the Throne of Broken Gods is like a literal 10 stars out of 5. So the series only just gets better from there. And lastly, on my 5 fantasy books that I think everyone should read is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This is a YA fantasy in which witch meets witch hunter, okay? It is so good. Who doesn't love a good witch meets witch hunter? Am I right? I just feel like this can never be overdone. Like, keep it coming. It could never be overdone. And Kristen Cicerelli does an amazing job at this. The romance is amazing. The world building is amazing. The plot is amazing. The storyline was so captivating, like you were just rooting on. But yeah, so pretty much our main character, Rune, she is a witch in hiding, and she's like an advocate in secret for the witches. She saves witches, her own people. There's only like a couple people that knows that she is a witch, so she's like a witch hiding in plain sight. But you know, in the kingdom, witches are prohibited, and so when they get captured, she frees them, and the witch hunter is involved. I don't want to give too much away, but you guys should definitely read this one. 5 out of 5. All these books were 5 out of 5. So good. Amazing. I will never stop talking about these 5 books ever. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I convinced some of you guys to read some of these fantasy books. Please DM me on Instagram at Crystals Reads to let me know how you guys liked these books. If you did end up reading them per my recommendation, I would absolutely love to talk these books with you guys. And if you have read these books and you have no one else to talk to about these books, also DM me. I would love to talk about these books with you. Pick it up, guys. Pick it up right now. Pick it up. Any single one of these. Take your pick. Pick it up, okay? I had such a great time talking about these books with you guys. I will see you guys next week with a new YouTube video. Bye!